The Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm not making this up, after blowing an 18-point lead in game 4, blow a 26-point lead last night. This series should be done. They should be chilling, waiting to see the winner of the Brooklyn-Milwaukee series. Nope. Not only is it not done, not only are they not just clinging to a 3-2 lead, they trail in the best of 7 series to the Hawks, 3-2. But here's Doc Rivers' playoff history since winning the NBA championship with the 2008 Boston Celtics and Kevin Garnett's Anything is Possible crew with Paul Pierce and Rajon Rondo and Ray Allen, of course, as well. 2009, Doc Rivers' playoff history. 2009, Celtics up 3-2 on Orlando, lose the series. 2010, Celtics up 3-2 on the Lakers in the finals, lose the series. 2012, Celtics up 3-2 on the Heat in the Eastern Conference Final, lose the series. 2013, Clippers up 3-2 on the Grizzlies, lose the series. Game 7, by the way, was at home. Just add that to the spice. 2014, Clippers blow a 15-point lead in Game 5 versus OKC, end up losing the series in 6. Oh, wait, there's more. 2015, Clippers blow a 3-1 lead to the Rockets. 2016, Clippers up 2-0 on the Blazers, lose the series 4-2, 4 straight losses. 2017, lose Game 7 at home to the Jazz. 2020, we all remember this from last year, Clippers blow a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. And then this. They haven't lost the series yet, but they blow the 18-point lead in Game 4, as I just mentioned, 26-point lead last night in Game 5. It is unconscionable. The outcome of the series to be determined. By the way, shout out to NYG Daily for culling all of that together. That is, again, we talk about Doc Rivers seemingly on an annual basis when that comes up, but I don't think we've made nearly enough of that collective body of work. Good Lord, how the Sixers lost that last night, 109-106 to the Hawks. They lose it as a touchdown favorite. Again, 26-point lead after an 18-point lead dissipated. Last night, there was a point in that game where I was saying when the Sixers were way up, I'm like, oh, boy, what a shame if you have Sixers tickets. Like, if you had just, gotten things done in Game 4 with that 18-point lead, this series would be over. Oh, it's not even close to being over. You are in elimination phase now as you go back to Atlanta for game number 6. And Ben Simmons, I have had it with the Ben Simmons talk. 4 of 14 from the free throw line. I could give a basketball to my buddy Tommy, who hasn't picked up one in 20 years, and he might have a shot at going 4 of 14.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Look, Doc is so likable, and he's a wonderful coach, but there's a real issue there. I mean, you just presented it, and obviously the history means something. And so sometimes, whether it's offensive linemen who understand, wow, the quarterback is nervous when he's rattled, or there are other situations in which players on a team know that there's something with their star player that's up when things get intense, you have to wonder what the situation is with Doc in tight games. And I don't think that he necessarily tightens up, but that may be the situation. And only the guys that have spent time with him on the court would know. And the interesting part, too, is that they're different. The Clippers situations and their shortcomings, especially now that you're seeing Chris Paul excel later in his career and in big-time clutch spots, that was a different situation than what Doc Rivers had going on now in Philly, and they're different. And I think it's important to get into the difference right now. You bring it up, Ben Simmons, right? You bring up this question of Ben Simmons. And people will say, well, it's the free throw shooting, so he's going to struggle late and miss free throws, and that hurts them. But that comeback is in part due to the fact that Ben Simmons is in his own head regarding the free throws, and I can explain that. There was a point in the third quarter last night. I went back and watched the tape. There's a point in the third quarter. Sixers are pushing it. We talk about Ben Simmons going downhill, right, having momentum. He's, again, one-on-one essentially against Kevin Huerter. And it was an opportunity really here to attack Huerter, and there was no defensive help that was going to rotate over quick enough to get to him. And in a normal situation during the regular season, Ben Simmons attacks, knows he's either going to score, which is most likely, or get fouled by Kevin Huerter. And most likely Kevin Huerter is going to try to foul him in that scenario. So you might even end up with an and-one. What happens? Simmons essentially brings the ball back out, gives a lighthearted drive, and then while he's in the post, tosses it out to Joel Embiid, who then settles for a 3. missed three for the Sixers, as opposed to going to the line for two, which also puts Kevin Huerter in foul trouble, or also scoring. And there were multiple opportunities that I saw in that scenario where he's not being aggressive, not attacking. You see it sometimes with big men. I used to see it with Chris Webber sometimes in his career when he was struggling from the free throw line, where he was afraid to attack from the post. And we're seeing the same thing from the perimeter with Simmons. And because of that, they miss opportunities to initiate the offense. And I love Ben Simmons, but that is killing them because you need to still play aggressively and keep that momentum when you're up. And obviously the Sixers aren't doing that. And then now we have a secondary issue created from this, which is you can't play Ben Simmons late in games. And if the Sixers aren't playing Ben Simmons, who's initiating the offense? And that becomes a major issue for them. So that's point number one. And then I think the other one, and I'm unloading all the bullets right now. I know, Gil.
Please.
I thought a lot about this last night. The other part, of course, is Joel Embiid. And for as dominant as Embiid can be, and we saw that, and we see it in the first half, we've seen that throughout this series, we also see that he's really struggling in second halves of games. He needs to also take some blame. Missed two critical free throws late, the only two free throws he missed. I'm starting to wonder now about Joel Embiid in the clutch and how he handles pressure. You know, he's a guy who talks so much, and I love that about him. Everyone in Philly loves that about him, but also has to take some of the heat. 0 for 12 in their previous game in the second half, and now those two missed free throws late. I wonder whether he's getting tired, but no matter what, you have to start putting some blame on him as well. As dominant as he's been, he is certainly struggling with the pressure late in these games as well.
The greats don't miss those free throws. They don't, and Embiid clanked them both. Back to Simmons for a second. You know it because you have Philly roots. There are people who are Philadelphia 76ers fans who there was a great debate of, hey, if you could only keep one of them, who would you keep, Embiid or Simmons? And there's a whole bunch of folks who said keep Ben Simmons. I'm sorry, Adam. Forget the free throws for a second, which you can't, but just put those aside. You only took 4 shots. Like, if you can't score and you can't hit free throws at the end, I don't want you on my team at all.